10th Planet Springfield, Mass, located Main Street, Agawam. What we're gonna do is interview Pat, my instructor. I'm the host of this video show called Commercial Insight and Advice. Thank you for being here. This is what we got going on. My name's Randy Haskins. I have a background in martial arts. I've been training for 45, 46 years now. I reserve who I train with for quality individuals, and I found Pat, one of the most quality individuals I've ever met within the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu community, 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu. I'll let him speak a little bit about himself.
Thanks, Randy. My name is Pat Campagnola. I'm a brown belt in 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu and the owner and head instructor here at 10th Planet Springfield.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah, I appreciate the kind words.
So what we got going on, I just want to give people some insight into who you are and what it is you do. So I developed 8 questions that I'd just like to ask you and get your view on. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
All right, here we go. So what was it that motivated you to begin your martial education?
I think like most kids, I started training karate when I was a young kid. I think around 7 years old. I did that as a kid, and at around 10 years old, I had a friend that was into wrestling. So just because my friend was into wrestling, I decided to kind of make the jump over and give wrestling a try. And from there, I wrestled from that age all the way through college. Once college was over, I kind of went through a little bit of a phase where I didn't have that physical release going on anymore, and tried the rec sports, softball, volleyball, all that stuff, and then finally got over all the excuses and just saw an MMA school and decided to just jump in and give it a try.
Did you do MMA or you?
So I initially started doing MMA. I was living out of town for a work assignment, and right next to the hotel there's this big banner that said mixed martial arts, so I just went in there and gave it a try. And yeah, they had me in there rolling and sparring with strikes with everybody on day one.
Nice. How'd you like that?
It wasn't good.
No,
No, I mean, getting punched in the face wasn't fun, but I immediately loved the grappling part. It just took me back to my wrestling base. The instructor there, he's actually a friend of mine now. His name's Naive. He's a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu now. And when it got time to move back home, he recommended I take a look into 10th Planet. So quick Google search, I found 10th Planet Phoenix and went and stopped in there.
Well, we're glad you did. Trust me on that one. So what system or style, I mean, I don't know if MMA has like, it's such a direct type of system or style, but is there any type of specific like path that they went that was different from others? You know, what kind of style was it? What kind of system was it?
Yeah, I was only there for a couple of months. My experience with the MMA style, it wasn't, at least from what I remember, it wasn't very strong in one style or not. It was just kind of your overall MMA style of striking. But Naive had an interest in 10th Planet at the time, so he was teaching. That's where I first learned a little bit about the lockdown and the rubber guard and some of your more common 10th Planet techniques.
So how long have you been training now?
I'm at about 9.5 years now from the time I started training at that place.
And what motivates you to keep training?
I mean, at this point, as the instructor of an academy, my motivation is to keep improving myself so I can keep passing that on to my students and keep them advancing.
So this is a common question many people ask, but I'm very intrigued by people's answers with this. How has your martial journey affected or enhanced your life?
I think it's made my life better all around. I mean, when we moved from Arizona back to New England, I went through this little phase of not training for several months because we're in a new place and settling in, and I had all the excuses I tell everybody else not to have. I don't like this place is too far away. And it got to the point where my wife was like, you just have to go train somewhere. Makes you a better person. You're a lot happier when you're training. And then with it, you realize you need to be in shape to be training all the time, so it just elevates your health and your fitness and your diet. makes everything better all around.
Absolutely. Is there anything you wish you had done differently in reference to your martial journey?
I think just starting sooner. I think that gap between wrestling and walking to that MMA club was a lot of lost time. I think I'd be much further along if there wasn't that gap in between and it was continuous from wrestling into grappling. But I mean, no regrets really. I walked into a really quality team with 10th Planet Phoenix and my instructor, John Boteo, so I'm very fortunate.
Agreed, definitely. In training, what is your personal goal and what are you endeavoring to impart to your students?
My personal goal in training at this point is to, I'm always polishing my techniques that I've been using for a long time, but I'm also always trying to bring in new techniques so that way we can broaden the horizons of our students. I don't want all of our students just to be a carbon copy of me. I want them to take pieces of my game and then also the outside techniques that I'm bringing into them and make them complete grapplers.
How do you feel training differs from the time you began as opposed to now?
I think I'm just a lot smarter about it now. I think you hear this common sentiment from most instructors is they're getting a little bit older and their bodies aren't feeling so good anymore. I mean, when we're young, we're out there going all out with the big guys and letting them stack you up on your neck and trying to invert with them and, I mean, taking all the bumps. And I mean, now it's not like we don't train hard, but I'm just trying to be a lot smarter about it. Listen to my body, take some time off.
From a fan's point of view, whose jiu-jitsu game do you most admire?
I mean, that has to be Eddie Bravo. That's the reason we're here. The reason I fell in love with 10th Planet is just looking at what Eddie had done with no-gi jiu-jitsu and just seeing how he's never stopped. He's constantly evolving.
What insight and or advice would you give to someone wanting to begin his or her martial education and or competition career?
As far as starting your training, I think you just need to do it. Common excuses, you're waiting to get in shape, you're waiting for something or another. I mean, the time's just going to keep passing. I think the sooner you can get started with it, the better off you're going to be. As far as competition goes, I try not to push people to compete, but I highly recommend to everyone at least gives it 1 or 2 tries to see how it goes. You don't know if you're going to like it or hate it if you never try it. And I find that no matter how hard you're training with your training partners, it's never going to be that same level of intensity as when you're out there on the competition mat. So it's not about, it doesn't have to be about beating the other person or how you finish or how you rank. It's going out there and testing yourself and see how your skills hold up.
Indeed. I personally would like to take the time to thank you for bringing 10th Planet Springfield to this area. We've been waiting for something quality. There's too many carbon copies out there and people in schools training and teaching curriculums that actually have no flow to them. Mm-hmm. One thing about 10th Planet curriculum is the connection between the techniques and the flow, the warm-up series. Phenomenal. And accepting me as a student. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I can't thank you enough for being our first student and bringing members here, even though you have your own dojo and your own students.
Thank you. Like I said, I only deal with quality. I also like to thank you immensely for taking the time for this interview.
Absolutely.
Is there anything that you like to tell them how to get in touch with you?
Yeah, you can. Best place to reach us is through our website. It's 10thplanetspringfieldma.com. That has all of our contact info and links. And you can also find us on social media at 10pspringfieldma.
All right. And in closing, is there anything else you'd like to tell them to tie everything together?
And I appreciate the opportunity for this interview. It's always good to get the word out on 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu. And if you're interested in training with us, just reach out through our contact info and we'll get you set up.
Absolutely. Hey, listen, to all my viewers, thank you for subscribing to my page. For those that didn't, remember, subscribe to the Underground Alliance on YouTube. And we will see you in the next round.